Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the episode 6 of the Post Plant podcast with me and our yours truly.
Hey, what's up, Kenny?
Yeah, been a minute. We should actually get to that point immediately. We saw some of your comments asking that the curse has hit us. The podcast already died after 5 episodes, a new record. But the truth is, podcast curse, yeah. The truth is, we didn't really have. We talked like 2 weeks ago because our goal was initially to make it like bi-weekly, right? But we talked like 2 weeks ago, and there just wasn't much to talk about. Like, hadn't really been any sort of developments in the scene. We haven't really been paying attention to PL.
I haven't been watching really anything.
Yeah, not really anything big. So simply, we decided to skip one episode. Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's for us, it's about quality over quantity. We're not gonna force out an episode if there isn't anything to talk about. But today, we definitely have something to talk about. So
big news.
Big news. So I figured we will start and we will talk about the heavy metal aftermath, and later on we're also going to be talking about the big one, the balance patch that dropped yesterday. So, but why don't you take it off, Gregor? How's your 1 month in experience been with heavy metal overall?
I'm having fun. There's a little bit more cheaty stuff going on.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I get rollback pretty much every time I log in, which isn't super frequent. I took about a week off here and there, but every time I do end up playing, I'll inevitably within a 24-hour period either queue with a blatant or queue with somebody that I had no idea was cheating at all, and then they'll get banned. So
you solo queue?
Sometimes I solo queue. I've only been solo queuing a little bit more recently just to get like content. Yeah, I know it's not amazing, but yeah. Other than that, I mean, I enjoy the actual season itself. I enjoy the balancing of it. Aside from the Solus stuff, as we've talked about, I'm kind of starting to. I'm getting a little tired of dealing with her on Bank and Skyscraper, especially. I play a lot of droning characters, so when she's on the board, it's pretty much like, especially in a solo queue environment, if you have a Solus on the other team, like it's pretty much impossible to just get any information at all. Like you have to dry check.
I like
everything.
I like that the one development that I noticed in the pro scene is that whenever there's a Solus on the board, their go-to strategy is just to like blitz rush her and hope it works out.
Go the other way or just 5v1 her as fast as possible. Yeah.
Yes.
There's like no other option. Yeah. But I mean, the game's fun. You know, I know it's like still TDM meta, Ubisoft, please fix, but like I'm having fun. I'm starting to see a lot of people say like Ram is mid, which I'm like, yeah, I guess, but like I still think it's one of those cases where
I mean,
it's like
we called that
character.
Though. We said that in on our, I think it was the last podcast, like Ram is fine. Like she's not really like a super power creep to Sledge. I'm pretty sure he still has like both him and Buck still has higher pick rate. I'm not sure, but yeah, like
especially
she was
she's
just
only
a good
really
addition.
used in,
like she's fun.
She's used in PL for like very specific situations. I mean, like of course, you know, as content creators, we're gonna me when I lie, liar prank, like craziest vertical operator. Like it's the gig, guys. Like I'm sorry, I hate to break it to you. Not everything you read on the internet is true, but yeah, I mean, like she's still pretty okay, and yeah, I'm not I'm having fun with this season.
Yeah,
I don't know. How about you?
I'm very much on the fence. Like especially in the last like week or so, I've been really bored. I will say the new balancing patch has gotten me excited, but I have been kind of bored for the last month. Like ranked has been, I think, not having more enjoyable.
Yeah,
but that's just because the other modes have really not been up my alley. Like standard just feels like a worse old quick match, and I mean, I will never touch quick match 2.0.
Oh, I don't touch anything but ranked. I just don't even bother.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously have always been more on that side. Like I've always been known as like, oh, that's the content creator who plays casual all the time. So like for me, it's kind of like it feels like I've been evicted from my home, and that kind of sucks.
That does kind of stink. Yeah, I know a lot of streamers really liked Unranked a lot because they had the ranked match set experience without the like, I guess the ranked culture.
There's also a lot of other things that
call it.
I miss, especially from sort of like old casual that isn't in standard. We also don't have the random rotation on defense. So now I'm just seeing the same default sites and default setups all the time. Whereas like when you were playing old quick match,
it's kind of lame.
You would see every single site be played, and it was just a lot more variety. And I mean, it also had all maps and stuff, so that really helped as well. Yeah, and I mean, I'm just tired of getting Yacht and having to play Yacht for 30 minutes, and then I get Yacht again. So that's been kind of bad. But Ranked has definitely been more enjoyable, and I mean, you and I aren't like, oh, Ranked 2.0 bad, Andy. So I mean, it's been all right. It's been all right.
We already had a whole episode about Ranked 2.0. You know,
yeah.
Right. So
if you're interested in hearing what we have to say about Ranked 2.0, there's like two other episodes that cover it.
English hard.
It's 1:30, okay? 1:30 a.m. I'm allowed to blurt out my words. But yeah, I mean that's basically our little first impression. So let's move on to the hot topic, okay?
The meat and potatoes.
Yes, the balancing patch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised.
I'm happy about it. I like them. I like the notes.
I think, yeah, same. I like all the notes. The only negative thing I have to say is that I'm missing like a few things that I would have really loved to be there. But beyond that, it's still like a really good patch on its own. But yeah, like Solis nerf, you know, that would have been nice. But other than that, banger patch. So
you would just go from the top down?
Yeah, go from the top down. Yeah, you start.
All right, here, let me actually pull it up.
Oh, I have I posted it in the Discord chat.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, I got you.
Wait, like the link?
No. Like there you go. Frost. I'm assuming you know the changes by heart.
I was trying to look for the actual like, the document. Sorry, you might have to edit this out.
All good. No.
Okay. Yeah. So the welcome mat stuff. I mean, like we've been.
Yeah, we covered Frost already multiple times.
Yeah, we've been back and forth on this so much. Again, I'll just reiterate: don't make it into like a content point. That was not a great idea from a community management and like community marketing perspective. Roll this in with the rest of the other balance changes. I'm sure nobody gives a crap. You know, maybe a couple of people on Reddit. Yeah. The problem was just showing it off at invite. Yeah. As for everything else, like the frag grenade stuff, the frag grenade hot potato stuff, I think Yana losing them makes sense. I think her having a Gone 6 makes sense. I'm not too big on Finka.
Do you remember what we were talking about before? We were sort of talking about wanting Yana to be moved towards some more
like a support
role.
Operator.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, she does keep stuns. I would have maybe wanted to see like something more, like I don't know, towards smokes or towards like breaching charges or claymores. But still, it's a little bit more towards supportive role than Fragger, and that's cool.
Well, it's like what happened to Twitch, right? I mean, she was the F2 operator for so long, and now she's kind of back to a more gadget-oriented, like backline drone-centric style of play because she has to lean on the DMR a lot more.
Yeah.
With Yana, yeah, I could see her being a more dedicated intel gathering op, because like you mentioned in one of the previous episodes, the clone a lot of the time isn't even really used for droning at an optimal level.
Yeah,
it's used to burn Aruni gates, which is like, oh, like that's cool. But that's, you know, I think from a game design point of view, that's probably supposed to be a tertiary function, not a main function.
Yes.
So I don't think Ubisoft wants that. So yeah, I mean, I don't think you really need to do much with her aside from that, and maybe rework the gadget at a later point in time. The only part about the frag grenade hot potato stuff I'm confused on is Finka.
Oh, really?
Because I personally, I'm just not a huge fan of Finka at all. I think her gadget is mid. I think it's very, you know, it has a very like limited case use scenario for like really aggressive rush strats, which isn't bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I think her having frag grenades is just kind of like, okay, this is kind of more what we were already talking about, which is trying to, avoid the hot potato thing.
Yeah.
Unlike the really big part of the patch that I like here is Gridlock getting frags. Frags on her kit makes a lot of sense
Mm-hmm.
because she's, basically just become a full blown like soft utility operator now, right? She has a shotgun, she has a great primary gun, she has crowd control, and now she can blow stuff up and potentially do depth charge stuff, right? She has destruction plus lethality. And the fact that she's a 3 armor kind of balances out the rest of the kit.
Yeah.
So Gridlock I like. Finka I'm not too sure about.
I would contest you on Finka a little bit because I feel like ever since she did lose like frag grenades and such, she just kind of got shoved out of like nowhere. Like nobody ever played her, and that's kind of a shame. I don't ever really want characters to like completely get like removed from the like
I agree.
being played. I do agree with you that I would probably have also wanted some sort of like change to the gadget to make the gadget more relevant and fix whatever issues are there design wise.
Yeah, it's just
But I also do want to highlight that it is interesting to see that they also want to push Finka more into the light at the same time as they're introducing the frost rework, because if I'm not gotten something mistaken, then Finka can actually cleanse the frost debuff that's applied if you take yourself out of a frost mat. So that's kind of a cool like rock paper scissors gameplay there. Like if they have a frost, you can 6-pick in a Finka.
Yeah,
and maybe cleanse it. It's
I think
there.
You gotta
it's
be
cool.
careful. You gotta be careful with rock paper scissors in this game. Like you can't League of Legends it too much. I do, but I don't mind that particular interaction. I think that's cool. I do kind of wish there was just I don't know. I mean, I know I'm just kind of yapping. I don't really have like a particular solution, like concrete solution. But I always just kind of like the problem with her gadget is that it's, like I said, it's just so there's like 1 in 10 scenarios where it's like, okay, cool, like a Finka boost. Like I always thought that if she's gonna do like a combat medic role, I feel like just having like a global health boost is just kind of like, okay, I don't know. Maybe she could have like one idea that I saw pitched around quite a lot was to just have like a medic bag like Payday, where she just like puts something on the ground and then people can go up to it and then get like health boosts as they like take gunfights. I guess that is a little involved and kind of clunky.
I think that might be a bit too clunky, especially since you might want to do like split takes. One idea that I concepted for a healer on attack, not necessarily a Finka rework, but just a healer on attack, was a reverse twitch. So instead of dealing damage, it heals people. So just a twitch drone, but with a stim pistol, basically.
I kind of had an idea for like Ana from Overwatch, like, but that's just basically Doc. It's just attacking Doc. But maybe the buff is like different. Maybe it's like an Uber charge from like TF2. I don't know.
I mean, that's kind of what old Finka was with the whole recoil thing, but people really didn't like that. Right? People didn't like when it took over. It came out of nowhere and just screwed with your recoil control. But hey, maybe if there was a better way of sort of choreographing the ability, then maybe they could actually have pulled it off.
It's tough in a game with one-shot headshot. It's just like it's a tough thing to balance. But I'm sure more people are going to play Finka because of frags. So
oh yeah, for sure.
Have fun with it. And apparently the LMG is like okay. I haven't used it.
No, that thing is.
What are they yapping about then? Why are they saying that in the thing?
Because Siege players just go what they're used to. They think that Finka.
Now that the LMG meta. Oh wait, okay, no, I misconstrued it. Now that the LMG meta has been adjusted, I interpreted that as like now the LMG's okay. Okay, so yeah,
the LMG's okay. That LMG is actually my bad, unusable.
I wasn't trying to.
But
someone watching this episode, like, what do you say F me for?
But yeah, I do as well. I do like the Gridlock thing. I think that's I don't know if you ever watched it, but at the start of the year I made a video where it was like one balancing change suggestion for every single operator in the game, and I think one of them was to give Gridlock frags, and everyone called me crazy. And look at me now.
They called me a madman.
They called me a madman. They hated him because he spoke the truth. No,
No,
but
Gridlock frags makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
it makes sense for her character. It makes sense for her gameplay loop. She's like,
I think
she's a utility character. She's a utility character who can, like, if you have the opportunity, like if the opportunity presents itself, you can gun out with the F90.
Yeah,
like
yes.
that's
and her LMG is actually not that bad still.
Yeah.
But I've seen so many people like anti-cope and say that Gridlock's gonna become the next like Uber fragger, like everyone's gonna gravitate. That's never gonna happen. As long as she's at 1 speed,
Uber fraggers are never gonna be 3 armor on attack.
Literally never. Like, and that's why it works so well. Like she has been really pumped for so long. Like I would even say, like in current Day Siege, before the patches even dropped, I would say Gridlock is really strong. The issue is the Zoomers just don't want to play 1 speeds, and they won't even with her having frags. So I think she's a perfect body to actually
they make
put
a
frags
lot
on.
they make a lot of noise, and you have a lot less positioning options in terms of rotating in case, one angle that you take is not advantageous in that particular moment. Like the penalty for being a 3 armor is much more severe on attack than it is on defense, because defense has the advantage of being able to stay in one spot.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you can shoot, right? If you have good positioning and you time your movement correctly, you can get a lot of picks. I don't mind playing like a secondary entry frag on Zoph. That's what I do from time to time. I play like refrag for my first entry. Who's to say, Gridlock can't really do that? I mean, if we're not in utility simulator, you got to be flexible in this kind of state of play for Siege, right? Like it's a general guideline. Yeah, you can bring the Gridlock to do this particular job, like cut off the flank. Sometimes you need to make a play. Sometimes you need to kill the roamer and just full send it and get the roamer off the map. And Gridlock can do that now. So
I can't wait to see her in competitive play. Just thinking about the whole loop of like she can, you can help sort of establish control above, and then you can put all of your tracks to cover all the flanks. Then you can start start building up vertical play with the super shorty, and then you can also start nading stuff yourself. Like she's gonna be so nice, and it's gonna be nice to see her actually finally like really be able to contest with Nomad for that role. So yeah, it's super cool stuff.
Yeah, and one of the things that's kind of understated about comparing her to Nomad, like I remember playing competitive for the short time that I did, and we definitely did not lean on Gridlock as much. But the thing about Nomad is that Nomad requires you to have a lot of things kind of going on around her, I guess, in order for that particular flank watch trap to make sense. I don't know if I'm yapping, but like the thing, like Nomad, you put a air jab on like a 90-degree flush angle, and if the map geometry is advantageous to that, it works. It's planned out. Other teammates know what's going on. They know specifically, okay, this is like cut off. In my experience, Gridlock is a lot better for like intuitive on the fly. Like, okay, this staircase is here. I'm just gonna throw this real quick. Whereas with the same thing with like Nomad, it's like I feel like there are a lot of situations where if you don't know the exact like how the like specific geometric placement of the air jab works, it's like I mean, like I guess they can shoot it because it's like kind of like this way, but if they don't, so
and you can't pick it up,
so
you kind of have to know the placement beforehand.
Exactly. With Gridlock, you just throw the thing and you're just like,
it's there,
right? And then you just go back to what you're doing. So really fun operator.
That should work.
And it covers so much ground, like even if they do end up shooting it, right, that tells you that somebody's there. So it'll be exciting to I'm happy about that.
But I don't know if you see the notes that I put there. It's interesting to see that Nook kind of went under the radar with the frag changes.
Yeah,
because I always felt like, especially on her, she's probably the best body in the game to have frags. We talked about this before with the whole, you can sneak in below completely undetected and nade from below, and there's not really any counterplay there, but beyond, I guess, Solis was busted. But I don't know, like maybe they're just waiting it for. I don't know exactly. I don't remember where Nook was on the play. Whatchamacallit, the pick rates or win
those charts always drive me crazy. But
I mean, obviously there is, and I've seen what other people have said since they made the Nook nerfs in Dread Factor. A lot of people think that Nook is now somehow like really bad, which I wholeheartedly
Well,
disagree with. She's very good.
Capital is worse, right, on that chart than Grim, which is like, hello, yeah. I just that chart always has to be taken with a grain of salt. I'm not saying that you're not the person, you know, or you are the person doing that, but yeah, Reddit, why is this operator bad? Moment, I mean, and it's like,
I think to some extent you can definitely use the pick rates at least. But there's so much context that needs to be applied when we're looking at win rates and stuff. Like, obviously, if something has really high pick rate, but it still has a negative win rate, that's still, like, a really strong thing. Because, obviously, with a high pick rate, a lot of people are just gonna, like, comfort play it, but not necessarily actually play it to perfect.
Doesn't Smoke, like, pretty reliably get below... Okay, he's doing okay.
Yeah.
But sometimes Smoke would have, like, kind of a low... win rate. Oh, he has a really low win rate on console.
Yeah, but because
comparatively,
he's a comfort pick. Like, he is a really good operator, and generally speaking, you could just kind of jump on it, and he'll probably do decently well. But
like on this chart, Azami has a negative, quote unquote, negative win delta. It's like, come on.
Yeah, man, she obviously does not deserve to sit there. And Solis, I mean, Solis should have like 99% pick rate and like 100% win rate, but that's.
Yeah, I don't know. The POF9 got a buff apparently, which is cool.
I was kind of disappointed in that change.
Really?
I want them to be more interesting gadget-wise. Like, don't get me wrong, the gun change is nice, but I guess I would have wanted to see a little bit more for Sense. Like, just something to spice up the gadget. Can I tell you mine first?
Yeah.
So I always had the idea that it could be nice to have the wall have some sort of secondary effect. Like, if a defender steps in it, they get like I don't know, like echo. They get like small flash, like short flashbang or something like that. Not like a full flash, but like a quick flash. That could be kind of interesting. So you could actually sort of counter people.
Or a little bit of like a damage tick.
I don't know about damage, but some sort of like secondary effect if a defender tries to go inside of the sense wall, something like that.
I always thought that with the projector wheel with the roly poly, you ever play like Raze in Valorant, where she puts down like the robot and you can see the direction the robot's gonna go.
Yeah.
There's like a little line. Just do that with the roly poly.
Like with
you hold it out. No, with sense.
Yeah, but like
like RAM, I guess like RAM. Where it's more like you hold it and there's like a hologram and you can tell exactly like how it's gonna bounce and like like that. Like it shows you a line before you throw it.
Yeah. No, that'd be cool.
Yeah. That way you wouldn't, it'd be easier to make lineups for it or to just do stuff like intuitively.
I mean, also hot take, it would be really, really nice if we had a custom game setting with infinite utility.
Yes.
So we could go in and we could test smoke lineups and sense lineups. I think that would help a lot.
I'm privy to that, as well as the idea of just like, if you walk through the wall, you might take like 10 damage or something, I like
just something
just to kind of because like neon walls and Phoenix walls and Val do the same thing.
Yeah. I guess one thing to actually mention, we haven't gotten there yet, but later on in this balancing, I mean, we can later on in this balancing patch, Warden gets nerfed, and that should also be mentioned here. With Warden getting nerfed, and I think with the nerf that they've applied, he's definitely going to have a lower pick rate. Not necessarily win rate, but lower pick rate. And that is actually a indirect buff to sense. And I guess also glass.
I guess so, yeah.
Because you're going to see less Warden, aka smoke plants are going to be more effective, generally speaking.
Well, I mean, were Warden mains ever using the gadget anyway?
Never mind. I love how that's become a meme in the community. Whenever like you're playing against the Warden,
people post clips. They're like, "Nah, bro, look at my Warden main." I'm like, "You gotta be kidding!"
People intentionally flash Wardens just so that they can just scream, "You're Warden!" and just push the guy as he's full flashed. And I love it. It's so funny.
It's crazy.
They're so bad. Warden players, man.
It's so weird.
Wake up.
I don't know how that. I don't know. I genuinely don't know how that happened.
Because they're just mechanical players.
I just don't get it.
They just
but the game is so like mechanically involved. Even the mechanical players like still use the freaking gadget.
Yeah, but they
like
don't
you don't see like professional players like ignore the gadget. I don't know.
Well, yeah, professional players and ranked hero of the month is different. I mean, that's what this is. Warden became the fragger flavor of, well, 6 months, I guess, not month, but yeah. And
there's always one.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's Ash Jaeger or Yana Warden. We should make a prediction when we're done with the patch notes.
Probably Goyo because of the vector, yeah.
I don't think Goyo because Goyo has a setup and people don't like when they have a job to do.
Oh, true.
It's gonna be like Lesion or like Thorn. I mean, Thorn is already kind of going there.
Thorn's already there. Yeah,
she's gonna get a higher pick rate after Warden now for sure.
Anybody with a 1.5.
And I definitely think Finka is gonna spike a little bit more with the frag grenade change. But we'll see. That one's gonna be interesting to see. It's a bit harder to predict now for sure. But the big change. I don't know if you saw my first reaction to the Tachanka change.
I didn't.
I think I made the biggest poke face I've ever made.
Happy camper?
Surprised.
Me too.
I think when we were talking about changes we wanted to do, I think I said that I wanted Tachanka to hit like the DP to hit for 50, which would be 1 damage increase, which would still change quite drastically how the gun behaves. They just went ahead and gave it 60, which allows it to 2-shot, 3 speeds and 2 speeds in the chest, and it does have like pretty decent range before it drops off. So like, I don't think people really realize how big of a jump in damage this is. Like it's
even bigger because like with a low rate of fire gun, especially a rate of fire gun like the DP, when you change the amount of bullets to kill, that changes the time to kill significantly. It's not a situation like where if you change the amount of bullets to kill by 1 on something like the vector, you're not really going to notice that.
Well,
but you're definitely going to notice that on Tachanka.
To put it simple, they just took away 1/3 of the TTK on 3 speeds and 2 speeds with that gun, which with that gun, which is firing quite slowly, that 1/3 is a big 1/3. So yeah, I welcome our Lord and Savior Tachanka. Because he's gonna demolish people now, and I also wanted to highlight one thing that I've sort of been taking around now for years is the whole like chip meta comp, right? Where you essentially constantly harass enemies through damage over time abilities like Clash, Tachanka, Maestro, etc. Lesion has obviously been a really good addition to that.
Dude, I've been playing so much more Maestro than I ever have recently, and I really think people are sleeping on him hardcore.
Yeah. And like that entire lineup now with Tachanka also being able to hit for 60, like you're gonna be able to hit someone once with like a cap gun or something, and then Tachanka can literally 1-tap them in the chest, unless it's a 3 armor. But the only 3 armors you're gonna see are shields and or Gridlock now. But again, that's a 1 speed. We talked about that. It's probably not gonna have super high pick rate, and Tachanka also counters shields. So. Yeah, Tachanka is gonna be nuts, man. Like, I wouldn't like. I'm excited. I'm a bit scared, but I'm excited at the same time. So it's gonna be a lot of fun for sure. Good job on that one, UB. I honestly didn't think they would have the balls. I didn't think so either. And you know, like the thing with him is that it's so difficult to balance him the way that I had this whole like rework concept again, you know, like the 3rd rework in a million times in a row for Tachanka. But I kind of had this idea where he gets like Tarkov'd out, and he just has like, instead of, you know, the DP, he has the option of like a big like modern like RPK, and you can have like better scope options, better attachments, and then with the grenade launcher, what I kind of had was the idea of like a semi-auto grenade launcher that he could, you know, swap out with a box magazine. That way he wouldn't have to go like dink and dunk like ka-chunk and reload everything manually and just make it like super. That's a bit of flavor though. Tachanka like quick and snappy. Yeah, and then the flavor's gone. It's like, oh, he's an antique collector. I'm that's great, man. This is like the leading like black book counter-terrorist organization chartered with NATO and the United Nations. Like, what are we doing here? I don't know. I just kind of like the LARP, you know, the fantasy like LARP aside. If they can't like
do too much because I guess, you know, they want to keep the character design intact, whatever that means. Like that's a good stopgap. I think maybe if you don't want to, you know, approach that concept too strictly with Tachanka himself, you could just do that in the form of another character. I don't know. I mean, like how many characters like that do we have? We have Goyo, Smoke, Tachanka. Like, you know,
we'll
who's
see.
to say you can't add a fourth one? I don't know.
I mean, we'll see what the defender is in season 4. A little bit spicy. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, let's just point this out. These kinds of changes that we're seeing in this balance patch, this is what we want, like every single season, right? This is spicy. This is exciting. This gets me hyped to play the next patch. Like compared to Dread Factors mid-season, which frankly was a disaster. Ugh. This is so hype, and I really hope that this is something that Ubisoft can actually continue doing, because this is
I agree.
Like, I don't want this to be the one patch in the year that doesn't suck in terms of balance changes, because that's kind of been the case for a while now. Like, I'm hoping that season 4 doesn't disappoint me.
Yeah, the mid-season stuff. I mean, I guess that shows like how mentally I'm in the scene right now. But for the mid-season notes, I always just kind of end up treating them as a like, oh, okay, here's a patch notes video. You know, I usually just kind of end up like ignoring them. I mean, like I end up playing it when it drops, and I might, you know, play around with the new thing.
Yeah.
But I always end up kind of defaulting back into what I do usually. This might be the first patch in a while where I'm just sort of like, okay, I can actually like legit see myself playing a lot more of this character because of this change. Like that's actually pretty significant.
I mean, I'm excited to play Siege more in general, because there's just much more content to play, and there's a lot more videos that I want to make now. Like I want to get a Gridlock video out. I want to get a Tachanka video out, and it contributes again to the whole chip meta thing that I'm sort of pushing as like a play style that you can do with your friends, which is amazing to do. And yeah, there's more content there, and it's gonna change the operators that I'm actually playing against too. I'm not gonna see Yana Warden every single round, and that's gonna make it more fun, right? Like, because that's also what these changes are about. We've seen, you know, Yara and Warden mains break down on Twitter over these changes, but at the end of the day, this is about bringing diversity to the whole cast. So we actually see, oh my god, cost. It's bringing diversity to the whole game, so we actually get to see all of these operators that are available, not just, you know, 3 of them for the next 9 months. The more operators that are actually being actively played, the better the game as a whole. And also on a competitive level, we get to see more operators in comp, and that's really good. We don't want the game to be stale and the same characters are being played every single round. So I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. What do you think of the Warden thing overall, aside from the obvious?
I mean, you should already know what my opinion is, because it is exactly what I believe we said during episode 4. I don't remember, but when we made our video talking about our patch, I think it was, we mentioned Warden, and I said I wanted Warden to become a 1-speed again. We take those.
Yeah, I agree. I think the copy that they wrote specifically on that point was exactly in the ballpark where they needed to be with that.
Yeah.
We want this character to be impactful in the late game. Use the gadget in the late round, right? Not just, you know, go for a peek at the beginning of the round. Like, you want that leverage over time, not just like those, you know, unique.
He's an anti-execute operator, right?
Yeah.
And executes happen later towards the round.
Exactly. Yeah, you hit the nail right on the head.
Yeah. So this just goes so much more in line with what he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be a, you know, a defensive sort of responder to like a full scale attack type beat going on, and it's what it's supposed to be. And they're not screwing over the gun or anything, which that's exactly what I wanted.
Keeping the scope is big.
Yeah, keeping the 1.5, because honestly, on a 1-speed, it's completely fine. Is he still gonna, like, you know, be played by a couple of bozos like that for the first few weeks of the patch? Probably, but this is something that, like, over time, these guys are gonna gravitate towards Thorn or Lesion, but those operators fit punish them, I would say, better. Warden didn't really. If a Warden dies early or whatever, it's not like a huge punishment. But if a Lesion dies early, you lose out on so many goo mines. And if you play Thorn bad, your Razor Blooms are not going to be effective. Like, you actually kind of have to put in a little bit more thought into these characters in order to actually get more value out of them, which wasn't really the case with Warden. So, yeah, I overall just better.
Game balancing is often a psychology experiment, and if it gets the weirdos off of him, and then people who are a little bit more like strategically minded get on that operator, then I think that's overall a good thing.
Yeah, and it's also not just. I mean, people are gonna say like, oh, but they're just gonna move on to the next fragger.
Yeah,
that's
I mean, like that's how it is. Yeah,
like that's balancing. Is it a constant thing? And at the end of the day, like I said, it's balancing is not just about keeping the game balanced. It's about keeping the game exciting and seeing different stuff. And then it's completely fine to maybe move the Fragger flavor of the month, because it still feels more exciting. I would rather play against like, oh, this season Warden is a Fragger, this season Lesion is a Fragger, this season Ella is a Fragger, than play against, oh, this year Warden is played every single round, right?
Yeah,
it's better.
And like you had to do it one day. Like it is what it is, and I'd rather have it happen now and then figure out what the heck they are going to do with the 1.5 thing, than do it the other way around. I'd rather have them have a clear idea of how they're going to affect the operator pick makeup before they roll out whatever solution they have for scopes, than the other way around. Because if they end up implementing the scope changes and then people get used to the operator play in context of the scope changes, then those characters are going to get changed after the fact, and they're like, we just changed the scopes.
Oh,
we just changed them. What's the big deal? What's the big idea? Right? Then everyone's going to get mad because their favorite operator got nerfed. So better pull off the Band-Aid now. Yeah. Good. W patch, changes.
Not a single one of these I would like say lean towards bad. I guess the only thing I wanted more for sense, and the only bad thing again that I would have to say is that the patch misses a couple of changes that I would want, like Solis, but we've touched on that so many times. But
IQ, I think IQ could have gotten EMPs.
Yes, that would be cool.
Come on.
Yeah,
come on.
IQ EMPs. Do I need to start a hashtag?
Please. It'd be so fun. Just try it.
Yeah,
try it on the test server.
Yeah, fuck around and find out, please, Yubi. But I will also mention, because a lot of people in my chat, when the changes came out, we were watching the changes together. A lot of people were disappointed that there wasn't anything about playlist changes, like changes to quick match, changes to standard.
I think it's an understandable thing to get upset about.
However, I do want to like specify there that I am with you. I'm also disappointed that we haven't gotten anything there yet. But this is a balancing patch. They weren't ever going. If they have something cooking there, they weren't ever going to announce it in the balancing patch.
It's gonna happen it's gonna be a content drop. It's gonna be a season drop. Yeah.
Yes. So we just gotta stay patient and hope that they're genuinely listening to our feedback there. Because it wouldn't come in the balancing patch. And again, I think it's really interesting because Ubisoft hasn't said a single word on this. However, and I think this was the one thing that dropped in between last podcast and now. There was a survey. I think I sent you this. There was a survey that were sent out to people. I don't know where you could really access it. But
a survey?
Survey.
Survey?
What, okay. Are you bullying me for my no, how dare you? But yeah, there was a survey where they highlighted three things. They were looking for opinions on RAM. They were looking opinions about a third thing that I do not remember, and they were looking for opinions on the playlist changes in the survey. So, and that was the first time I have heard anything about Ubisoft talking like in any sort of capacity about the playlist changes since it was announced. Like they haven't promoted it ever in on like Twitter or whatever. Like they've completely
now,
stayed
you
away
jogged
from
my
talking
memory.
about
I
it.
think I filled that out now. Yeah, now that I think about
Yeah,
it.
but
Yep.
that survey was there, so they're at least looking for feedback around it, which I guess is good. Yeah. So yeah, we just need to be
Well,
patient.
I'm sure the
something.
feedback that they got. I'm sure the feedback that they got, was overwhelmingly like, "Hey, this is not, this is no bueno.
No bueno.
This ain't good.
But
this ain't it."
But Gregor, they were so confident that we were gonna like it. Anyways,
I'm
okay.
sure they were.
We've shat on that too much.
If
if you guys are interested in hearing our full takes on the playlist changes, they are in an older episode. Especially if you guys want more episodes, they're there. You can look at those. But yeah, was there anything else that you would have wanted in the sort of patch note besides Solis?
I mean, no. Aside from, I don't know. Aside from a decree from the Department of Cybersecurity saying that we have made video game cheating and Rainbow Six Siege illegal, and we're partnering with Ubisoft Limited to to throw every cheater in jail until the end of time.
True.
That's probably all I got on patch notes, which that'll never happen. So I guess I will suffer instead.
Yeah, fair.
I could always move to South Korea. It's illegal there.
Yeah, true.
Probably take notes.
Yeah. Well, it's because it's such a big business there in South Korea, right? Like esports is like one of their biggest ways to make money, so of course they care about it.
They don't play around.
Yeah,
they're like, hey, don't mess with my revenue stream, dummy. Go to jail.
Going to jail.
Jeez, I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But yeah, honestly, I mean, again, I want to be very clear. Like this patch is good, Yubi. Continue this. Like this is on a path to being like what we actually want to see. We want to see cool shit that gets us excited, that gets us wanting to play the game. We don't want a patch with 4 nerfs, and also Vigil is actually crap since the Dread Factor change. So please unnerf that.
Okay, that's true. Yeah, I don't know why. Like the Vigil stuff,
it literally became worse.
More love.
Straight up, it became worse.
Yeah.
And that didn't make any sense. I don't know if they have anything like big long-term planned for Vigil. I guess we'll see. It was also so weird because then it was like highlighted in the heavy metal promotional stuff, and he's just kind of doo-doo at the moment.
Well, because like the South Korean thing going on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. Yeah.
It was odd. But anyways,
I was reading some of the comics and stuff they were doing. It goes kind of crazy. We got bad guys. We got shooting. We got shootouts.
Yeah.
And kind of like, oh, okay, this is Tom Clancy stuff. All right, we're actually playing a Tom Clancy game.
Hell yeah.
Kind of crazy. But
yeah. So I guess we move on to the last topic of the day. It's gonna be a bit quicker episode, but again, we talk about what we actually have to talk about. So I don't know if you saw, but I highlighted Doctor's Curse coming back. Version 4, version 5. I don't know at this point.
My favorite.
It is my favorite as well. I want to specify if I
that was a joke. I'm not big on.
You're not? Oh, okay. This is gonna be spicy then. So
yeah.
I guess I can start then. So I do love Doctor's Curse. It is probably my favorite mode. However, I definitely can sense a little bit of burnout on it, because now it's gonna be whatever the 4th or 5th edition of it. I don't even know at this point. And
the skins are always really sick.
Yes.
Every time the skins are really, really good. But yeah, I play the mode like a couple of times and I'm just sort of like, and then I get bored of it really quickly.
I'm a big I'm an ambassador for Doctor's Curse. But
a brand ambassador.
I would really, really, really like to see them do something to spice it up. I don't want them to do like the whole like, oh, Ubisoft event, let's just make it a TDM thing. I don't want that. If they make Doctor's Curse a TDM, I will riot. But I would like to see them do something to spice it up. Like I don't know. I would like them to add more maps, maybe. Like just make fortress or skyscraper into so there's like an actual like map rotation. So it's not just old theme park. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Mm. They're obviously gonna add more operators, but that's kind of a given.
I don't know.
Right?
I'm making events is hard because how much can you do with the engine? Like you might have an idea, and then the actual engineering and the architecture of the game might have a different idea.
Yep.
So like, how many different things can you do? I don't know. I don't have much input on it aside from like it's kind of it's not really my cup of tea. I mean, it's fun for a couple of times, and then the novelty sort of wore off by like year 2, year 3. I mean, for events, I always think it's just it's a great opportunity for the artists to kind of flex their creative muscles a little bit and do some cool stuff, make a little money. I mean, that's where every game like this gets most of their money from is skins anyway.
With that said, I want to make it very, very clear, Ubisoft, that if y'all don't have like a big bad wolf werewolf skin for Fenrir and he's not available in Doctor's
that's
Curse,
huge. Yeah,
you guys are. Ooh, that's such a missed opportunity. Ah, man.
True.
But hey, Doctor's Curse
somebody
next year.
Could do like that makes me think. I wonder if somebody could do like an homage to MJ's Thriller, where it's like a zombie pop star kind of thing. Who's like the pretty boy of Siege? I guess it would be
Lion.
Trying to think. I don't know. Lion could probably pull it off. Give him like an NSYNC jacket kind of thing going on. There's like a I don't know.
I don't get it.
Am I going somewhere with this? I feel like I'm out here on planet wherever I'm at, and you're still on planet Earth.
I'm confused.
Okay. Have you ever seen that music video?
MJ's Thriller?
Yeah. Oh, okay. No, I was just thinking like he could do a skin that's kind of like with the jacket and like the zombified face with like the messed up hair. That could be cool. That'd be fun.
Yeah, true. I wonder if they would actually drop like an elite with Doctor's Curse. That could be kind of cool. We could actually get like something. I don't know. Like, I mean, you're not too keen on Doctor's Curse, right? We've established
just
that.
The event, yeah. Just the game mode is just kind of like
while still staying in the constraints of what sort of Doctor's Curse is supposed to be, like hide and seek, right? How would you spice it up to make it feel fresh to the point where even you would probably enjoy it a lot more again?
I'd probably add like more destructive like tools for the monster hunters aside from just like the one hammer. Because right now it's just you just kind of like you just sort of run around, and it's like like it's an interesting gimmick, like the whole hide and seek thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like the actual involvement of the gameplay loop is just kind of limited.
Oh, you know what would actually be kind of sick if they could pull it off? What if they added the like grand larceny destruction to Doctor's Curse? So you could actually
I miss Grand Larceny.
Yeah,
Grand Larceny was one of my favorites. Yeah. I always really messed with the
Imagine if you could just hot drop through the floor onto one of the monsters. That could actually be kind of sick.
I always wondered why they never did anything like a kind of like a high gothic, like high fantasy, like Castlevania inspired.
We talked about that before. I talked about like if I ever got to make an event, I would just make it like a medieval fantasy like castle siege. That would be really cool.
Yeah, you could have like a wizard. You know, what's the game that they had a while ago that was popping off for a second? It was like it was literally like a fantasy like FPS game where you're like a wizard and you cast like spells and crap.
Oh,
Skyrim. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I forget the name of it.
Yeah. There was the BR, right?
Mm-hmm.
Spellslinger, like
it was like in a castle or something.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah. I know Shroud was playing the hell out of that.
Yeah, it was like the Shadow Wizard Money Gang meme. It was really popular for that.
Yeah,
but you could do something like that. You could do like you have like a vampire hunter, right? Or like goes around with like it has like a little
it's weird
a book or like a whip, Castlevania.
I don't know, like because I wouldn't want
you do like the chain whip and then the whip would like have a ton of destruction. You could like sling the whip and then it goes like crashes. You know, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Throw like holy water at the vampire who's trying to run away. The vampire can like vanish like, you know, just get creative with it. I don't know. I mean, like,
Yeah,
I feel
no,
like
no,
there's just not a lot of like, you know, like you have the basic gimmick itself, which is cool, but I just like have some fun with it, you know, spruce it up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. Like, I wouldn't want them to shelf Doctor's Curse, but I would definitely want like something like some more variety to it. So I guess like I'm really leaning towards like adding more maps. I feel like that would help like a lot with Doctor's Curse if they just added like 2 more maps into a rotation of it. I think that would
Yeah,
go
I
really
mean,
far.
personally, I think Ubisoft should just like allocate like too much of their budget like to a new castle map that only runs for 3 months because it would be really cool for those 3 months, and then just, you know, just do that only for that event.
Yeah,
really good idea. I think everybody in the top floor would definitely not like kick me out of the meeting before I got even like halfway through my pitch. Hire me, call me. Castlevania 6.
yeah, and I have my medieval
Genius.
castle siege, so we can work on it. We can work on it.
Yeah, we'll cook something. Yeah.
I mean, but it does raise the whole question though, because when was the last like purely fresh event that we got? Like really fresh? Was it the containment event?
Was it?
Or was it Rengoku?
No.
Was it Rengoku 1.0?
Was it really? Has it been that long?
I don't remember.
There's no shot. I guess you're right. I never thought of it that way. I don't keep track of like which events are which by like each.
Yeah, because I think the latest ones that have been new additions have been, I think, Rengoku, Apocalypse, and Containment, and then there's been like reuses of, you know, Snow Brawl of Rengoku 2.0.
I guess you're right.
Mute Protocol 2.0 was kind of a new mode, and it kind of was worse than the first Mute Protocol, but they haven't really done like a new event in a while, and I think that also doesn't help the burnout with say like Doctor's Curse, because like people want something new and fresh, right?
How does the event schedule even work? I guess I never thought of it that specifically. Like usually when they announce an event, I'm like, oh, cool, an event.
Yeah.
I don't really like keep track of the like when they run them. You know, is it every season? Am I crazy?
Yeah, there's one event every season.
One each
nowadays.
season. Okay.
Wait, what was it? What was last season?
I forget. I think it was Rengoku, wasn't it?
What was in Commanding Force then?
I don't know.
Ah, shit.
I completely like in one ear and out the other.
Skipped, and
I forget.
I mean,
every time. Yeah.
Now we also have the permanent arcade playlist, right? So I guess that took up in what Commanding Force, because I think that's when it came in. But with that said, actually, have you played any of the like random gun thing that they added to arcade?
I played a little bit of the snipers mode, and I really like the sniper mode a lot.
Yeah, I would recommend.
But I haven't done like the gun game yet. No.
Yeah, I would actually recommend that, because I've kind of been like an anti-arcade person for a while, like, because I don't find like there's not like a lot of replayability to a lot of the arcade modes.
Siege is such a weird game in that respect, where it's like the gunplay, like what makes the gunplay work is like the elimination tacit of it. When you give it respawns, it sort of feels like really like, yeah, I wouldn't say like bad. It's just sort of like, this doesn't hit the same.
I would agree, but at the same time, like I've actually been really enjoying the random gun mode. It's like a really fun, like chaoticness. The one thing that sucks is that the guns are presets, so eventually you start realizing that, oh, I've played with this UMP every single time, and like it's always. I think the UMP always has like suppressor and Cybertruck, and the boss G always has holo instead of ACOG. And there's too many pistols.
You I'm sure you take offense to that.
Yeah, but I feel like it would be a lot more fun if there were a lot more options in there. But it is fun. Like the random rotation is really fun, and you do stumble upon some really wonky loadouts, and it's fun because everyone uses the same loadout before it swaps, right? So if there's like a really shitty gun, everybody has to use
the shitty gun.
Yeah, I mean you kind of get surprised. Like the F2 with extended barrel is surprisingly controllable. Even though it's I'm not joking. It's surprisingly controllable, and that is one of the loadouts that you can get in random guns. So yeah, I would highly recommend you play that. Like it's actually a really good warm up mode with some fun chaoticness to it.
Hey, FBI, Yeah, it's him. He's the guy. He's the guy who thinks F2 is
Hey, I don't know how it just it do go down.
I'll have to get back to you on that. Maybe I'll go in the shooting range after we're done. And
yeah, it do go down.
All right, it's more like it go up. It doesn't stop going up.
Yeah, but it's like a clean going up. I don't know. It just works.
Okay. All right.
Todd Howard.
I believe you.
Anything else you would wanna mention?
So anyway, for my Castlevania Rainbow Six idea, no, I'm kidding. That's all. I mean, yeah, I'm kind of.
I mean, since we're on the topic with Doctor's Curse, I already said mine. I would want them to add a Fenrir werewolf skin, right? What skin would you add to Doctor's Curse? One monster and on which
zombie pop star. Get the MJ, the Thriller with the freaking. With the jacket, with the boots, with the pants, hair.
But Lion is already in as a monster hunter, though. If you were to add a monster,
you can't be the only pretty boy in Siege. Who else? Yeah, come on, give Pulse a wig.
I mean, it's got to work a little bit with the gadget too, no? Come on.
I guess. What? What's some other costume ideas? I guess you could do.
Sexy nurse. For Mira! Oh my god, Gregor, you're a genius! I mean, that's there it is. There it is. I mean, we peaked. Yep. Oh my god. Holy.
We can't get much higher.
Yep.
Can't get much higher than that. Does Nuck have like a swamp monster kind of outfit, like a creature of the Black Lagoon thing going on?
I mean, yeah, she's a frogman. I mean,
that's what I'm saying, for like a freaking skin, like a Halloween skin.
I know there have been leaks around, so I refuse to comment.
If I speak, I'm in big trouble.
If I speak, I'm
in big trouble.
Be
in big trouble.
Yeah, I think I've seen 2 leaked characters.
Okay.
It could be more, could be less. I don't know. The teaser that they posted on Twitter was mean. They actually jump scared. What the hell?
They could do they could give Mozzie like a Mad Max, like a crazy biker.
How would his gadget
outfit
work in Doctor's Curse though?
I don't know, man. I'm just thinking of like Halloween costumes.
Yeah, but
what
would
who cares about the gadget?
The pests would have to do something.
Maybe the pest can it'll attach, like you walk into it and then it sprays chrome spray paint on your face or something.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Ship it. Ubisoft, get this guy. Get this guy.
Who published Mad Max? Was it Warner Brothers?
Oh.
Hit them up. Mad Max or
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, it was Warner Brothers. Yeah.
I realized the topic we should have definitely covered, and I haven't prepared a thing for it. So we'll just use the Doctor's Curse here. We didn't talk about Master Chief.
Oh yeah.
How do you feel about it?
It's cool. I like. Don't get me wrong. I like the crossovers that Siege does. I feel like Siege is kind of unique in the crossovers that they do pick to do. I think it says a lot about the community, about how like those the stuff that they do implement is received really well, like especially like the Nier skins. I think I mean, I'm sure like every mainstream gamer, like a lot of mainstream gamers have played Nier, like it's certainly a very mainstream game, but I also feel like in the same vein, it's very common to malign like competitive FPS communities. It's like multiplayer, like esports bros, they don't really like, maybe they're not like as cultured, right? So when I see stuff like the Master Chief skin, it's like, okay, cool. Like, clearly people kind of F with this, but also, when I see like a bunch of elite skins like that in a row, which hasn't happened, right? We had a lot of unique elite skins. I do kind of look at it and then I'm just sort of like, okay, I mean, it is a crossover, right? It's not a unique like Siege skin.
It's not canon.
And a lot of and like a lot of the unique like elites that we do in game. So I don't know. Sometimes like the Thorn one wasn't bad. but I would like to see a little bit more. Like I'm always a sucker for like the historical stuff. Personally, I'm a huge sucker for that. I'm a huge sucker for like anything that like Tactical Bros, the character out is really cool. Like the Ace Elite, I really liked. Thunderbird Elite, I liked. But yeah, I think it's good. I think it's definitely worth the money. I like how they get creative with it in terms of trying to make the gadget sort of like analogous to the universe from which the crossover was done. Like he has like a gravity hammer, right, per se. That's interesting. It made me think about other crossovers they could do.
Kratos Oryx. Yes.
All right, let him cook.
Let me cook.
That's actually that's good.
Yes,
wow.
It is.
That's a good idea.
Yes.
I like that.
I posted it at the Twitter and it popped off. Holy. The only issue there is getting like Sony to allow it to not just be a PlayStation exclusive, which is actually interesting because the Master Chief Elite isn't a Xbox or PC exclusive. It's actually available on the PlayStation version of Siege.
Yeah, and I think Microsoft isn't as draconian with their like copyright law, right? Because I mean, Microsoft kind of, they teched early into like the technology tree of having like, Windows. So like by making Windows, they just kind of are like the default like computer ever. So they don't really care about like, copyright crossover as much, because that's why they did the whole like Xbox PC cross compatibility thing.
Yeah.
Because like they're not losing money at the end of the day, right?
I just find it funny
how
Sony,
it's a little more specific.
I just find it funny how there's probably more people playing Master Chief in Siege right now than in actual Halo.
That game is so weird. I heard it was like it had like a everybody was like, it's back, Halo's back, and then every time I hear like a live service game that kind of fell off, and then people are like, it's back. I'm like,
see, the thing is,
I play Siege. I have no room to talk, but it's just sort of, I don't know.
The thing is, I think Halo is at a crossroads right now. Like Halo as a franchise, where the games have an expectation on them. People want this sort of like arena shooter-esque, which is a very outdated genre that doesn't have a lot of replayability. But people are very boomer about it. They kind of like their boomer shooter the way it is. I mean, it's true, right? But,
no, I mean, yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
And the replayability is kind of bad. So the game only stayed fun for like a couple of weeks, and then it kind of got the samey, and people went back to their FPSs with better replayability, and that's the issue. Like Halo is in a spot where they have a community that doesn't want them to innovate. They want it to be Halo, but at the same time, they're not gonna play it as long as it's just basic Halo. And it's so interesting that he's finally they put Master Chief in Siege, because Siege is one of those games where Ubisoft were actually sort of allowed to innovate with the franchise.
Master Chief is an iconic character from a strong narrative focus. Like Halo, just like I get that people love. I love Halo 3. Like Halo 3 is my like in terms of like multiplayer FPS, like live service experience, whatever you want to call it. Halo 3 on Xbox 360 during the Obama administration was like nothing. Nothing comes close. You
put that in there as well.
I'm just saying, like nothing comes close, right? You had the 2008 recession, and it was all good because I had Halo 3.
I spent so many hours in Halo 3 Forge.
Yeah,
screwing around and making booby
No
traps.
one is like that was lightning in a bottle. But that's the thing. Like people don't want to acknowledge when you get lightning in a bottle. Yeah. Right. Like no one wants to acknowledge when you had like Alien and Aliens, and they made Aliens 3, and then Alien 3, and it was like. What? Okay, why do we do that? Like no one wants to admit, it's just like we had this idea, it worked. Let's try something else. Either try something else, or don't try to like go back into the formula unless you have a really good idea. And then with Halo Infinite, it was sort of like, okay, like this is a passion project, cool. But what else are we gonna do with this? Well, we could just we can make the same kind of game we would have made in 2008, but with just like better technology. And it's like.
It's not enough in today's landscape.
Okay, like yeah,
it isn't. Like let's just be honest with ourselves. Like these games that sort of pride themselves on staying the same for so long, they're starting to fall off a little bit, and it's hard for them to reach.
I'm turning. I just turned 27. I'm turning 30 in 3 years. Like,
it's hard for them to reach a new audience because
Time
all of
passes.
these Zoomers, they want the flashy, high replayable FPS games that feel different every single round, right? And you know, games like Halo and eventually even Counter-Strike is going to have that natural bleed of players, and if they can't do enough to spice up their formula, they're slowly going to fall off, and we're seeing that with Halo right now.
We could have a whole podcast episode about this.
Yeah.
Like, I think that because you get it because you have like experience with game design. Like, we're not in the completely total pioneering days of, especially like FPS game design theory, where we're still like trying to figure out what like people like and what people don't like. Like, now we have a pretty good idea of like certain core concepts that people like and dislike.
Yeah.
And so now we're kind of getting into a point where we're like codifying like, oh, we have a history of game design with FPS games. We have a codified history of what works from a mechanical construction perspective. I mean, like Titanfall 2, like you ever play the campaign for that?
I didn't.
What? Oh man.
Okay. Listen, I promised so many people to play.
I mean, if you're a game dev guy, like, it's genuinely really good homework. Like, like the time travel mission from that game from Titanfall 2. Anybody's watching is gonna know what I'm talking about. Like that. Like that mission has its own.
I have seen it. It's like, it has
its own
cool.
Wikipedia article. It has its own Wikipedia articles because it's like, okay, like this, yeah, like there was, you know, pre this, and then afterward it was like, oh, okay, so now we have like a lot of concepts that we know work, and we can kind of like, you know, it's equal parts like art as it is, you know, like an engineering point of view. And so I think where we look at it with Halo is that we have a lot of these older concepts where we're like, okay, well, what else do we want to do? You know, like, what do we want to do with the movement? And then people want to do one of two things. They either want to Halo 5 it and then go like esports, and they just like they completely pivot down into the esports portion of it, when that's not really what made Halo work. I mean, like, yeah, it had MLG, don't get me wrong, you know, but we're kind of encountering the same thing with Siege, where it's like, yeah, the esports component is really important, but what's, you know, ultimately at the end of the day, like, if it's not fun, why bother, right? You know,
I think
Reggie, right? Like,
another thing that's becoming really vital for me when it comes to keeping a live service alive, right, is that the game needs to have a content creation scene or esports scene that people genuinely care about tuning into, right? Exactly. It exists online, and that doesn't really work for Halo because it's not, there's not a flow
anymore.
There's not a flow of content that spices things up so that it's something that, you know, you could tune into and you can get new experiences. But with all of the other games that have been successful over the years that have been live services, they've had that sort of flow of content. It's the one thing that Fortnite did exceptionally well. There was actually a constant flow of content that really encouraged content creators to flock to their game, because there was like every single week, sometimes even each day, there was something new to cover in a video. And
if you're Fortnite is so weird.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna make a live service, you actually have to sort of ship content, and Halo's formula just doesn't work with that. Like, they have to break it somehow, and I don't think that they have the balls to break it.
I don't think a battle royale is the solution for one.
No.
I don't know if somebody on Twitter said it pretty perfectly. It's just like, why did we stop like innovating FPS games after Titanfall 2?
I mean, Siege was pretty good. Siege was pretty good.
Well, Siege even I think Siege was before Titanfall 2.
Was it?
But I think Titanfall 2 was like 2017, right? Because it was Battlefield 1. Remember?
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
I want to see more looter extraction shooters. That
I was thinking extraction shooter. I don't know how you could do that with Halo.
I know, not necessarily Halo, but I think that's the next big thing probably that we're gonna see more games try to do. I mean, COD failed miserably at it with the DMC or whatever the hell it's called.
Hey, they tried.
I wouldn't even call it an attempt. I mean, it had pay to win mechanics on launch and shit. Like, nah.
Oh, I don't know about all that. I didn't play it that much to like
Yeah.
ascertain that yes or no. All I know about Modern Warfare is like they're doing Modern Warfare 3, and it's like it's what Modern Warfare 2 should have been.
Yeah.
That's the marketing, and I'm like,
But
I personally can't believe that they would expect me to pay $70 for this. I can't believe that they would expect me to. Here you go. Thanks. I just can't believe they would make me pay money for a rehash of the Modern Warfare 2 maps. That's just ridiculous. I'm installing it right now just to see how bad this business model is. Well, honestly, Gregor, Activision, I've had it up to here with you, Gregor. I'm gonna play the game nonstop for a week, and then I'll have an educated opinion about why this is bad. Like every November, this is what Call of Duty fans do. They're like, I can't believe they would do this, and you go and buy it.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I've been playing X Defiant, and X Defiant is actually gonna be like COD is dead. But actually, I just got invited to a COD Modern Warfare 3 playtest, and COD is so back, baby. COD is so back. It's so back. It's so back. It's the next. It's the best thing ever.
That's how it is. Yeah.
Yeah. We're so back. We're so back.
COD fans are like it's a constant cycle of like it's Jover, we're back. It's Jover, we're back.
Yes.
Like, it's a very
but Dr. Disrespect has already quit for his 37th time. It's man. Bro, that guy retires and makes comebacks.
He's something else.
Like we joke about Canadian retiring and coming back to Siege like 3 times. Bro, Doc has retired and came back to COD like 3,400 times.
I know. Yeah,
anyway,
I'm one of the weirdos. I'm one of the weirdos who like because I'm a Siege player. I think if you were a Siege player, you probably really liked Modern Warfare 2. And then everybody else was like, "This is awful. I hate it here. Go away." I liked it. I had fun with it.
I had my fun with it, but it fell off a bit faster than like the first Modern Warfare 2019 for me.
Faster?
Yeah, I don't know. I just couldn't really get into it. I don't know why.
I don't know. I thought like everybody was complaining that it was too slow.
Oh yeah.
That's the part where I was confused. I was like, dude, it was too slow.
Yeah,
again, because I play Siege, right?
I don't remember, to be honest.
I don't know. It's what Siege like literally gives you like when it comes to like random like kind of like average Joe Fireman Frank FPS games.
Yeah.
Like Siege, you go from that to like Battlefield, and you're just like, oh wait, I have like fundamentals. Most people don't have like they don't have like peaking fundamentals or like cover. Oh. That's why people are mad. Yeah. It's like, I was there when I was like a normal person before I played Siege, not even once. Kids don't do it. You turn into a giant FPS dork like me. And then you notice when people peak something incorrectly. God. But yeah, I don't know. I think to all that end, Siege has managed to kind of stay around in part due to its unique nature and being able to do exciting and different things every patch. I mean, like there really isn't a single game like it, and you're always going to be able to innovate and do something. Like every round of Siege plays out in a different way, for the most part.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. I know it's not like perfect.
I mean that's Siege's biggest strength. Like I talked about earlier. It has that factor of there's always something new to discover. There's always something new as a content creator to talk about, given that there's balancing changes and stuff, which is one of the reasons why you and I are big pushers of actual exciting balance patches, because it actually gives us things to talk about, which makes it more exciting for the entire community as a whole. And that's Siege's biggest strength. Is that there's so many variables, there's so much replayability. I would probably argue that Siege is the most replayable FPS.
I could agree with you on that.
At least multiplayer FPS, that is.
And the learning curve too really helps a lot too.
Yeah,
I think the learning curve, like a lot of people discount it, obviously, because it's frustrating. When you get your ass kicked. I mean, Siege is one of the most. I'm there with a lot of people. Like Siege is one of the most unforgivable FPS games. Yeah. To play. Like it is very punishing for like simple mistakes. Simple mistakes can just get you killed, but it also rewards you for putting in the effort, which is like one of the components of it that makes it really work. So it allows you to extrapolate and really kind of think. It's a game that rewards you for thinking outside the box, and that's why I think a lot of people don't, they kind of unfairly malign the PL scene, because I think they kind of get irritated at the idea of like having some kind of pattern or some kind of like codifying to like having rules established in the game, and when the fun of it is the sandbox. Which, again, it's like the whole argument I always hear about Halo is just like, oh, the sandbox. If the pro players can't use the sandbox, then it's like, dude, it's a giant laser beam that fires 5 million thermonuclear missiles on every single corner of the map within 2 seconds. It's broken. You can't put it in. You can't put it in the competitive league. Well, maybe the pro players should just like adapt. Shut up. What are you talking about? What? Of course the pro players can adapt. The problem is that everyone is also using it at the same time. Hello, I'm gonna go on a PL rant about Halo. Don't get me started.
Yeah, I won't.
You're already giving me the look. You're like, oh god.
No, it reminds me of the whole like Call of Duty like gentleman's agreement that they have for COD's pro scene, and I think that's just I hate that shit.
It's boring.
Like, oh, let's make COD even more bland and less interesting to watch, where everyone could just run SMGs because everything else is banned through gents. Like, could you imagine if you had that in Siege? So boring. Like, pro players just agreed to just play like 5 recruits against 5 recruits. Like, it would be so bland.
I don't want to see like 5 aimers like aim at each other.
Yeah.
That's great. Like, you're great at aiming, bro. Amazing. I'm happy for you. That's not exciting. Like, that's just not exciting to me to watch. Like, I just
like to see the teams that really take around and use like the teams that innovate, which is one thing that has always made APAC historically a really entertaining region to watch. They don't win, but they're entertaining as shit. I mean, really, it's a compliment, but a little bit backhanded, perhaps. But that's what I like to see, and that's also why these patches, especially preferably more frequently so, are really good for the competitive scene, because there's gonna be a lot more entertaining to watch the NA major now, when we're coming in with Tachanka, with Gridlock, with Finka, with Warden and Yana being nerfed, with Sense potentially feeling a bit better, right? There's gonna be so much more spice. There's gonna be so many more new pocket strats that are gonna be taken in, because the major is in a month? Yeah, that's exciting as shit, and it's gonna make me more likely to watch competitive play, because we get to see some of the best teams innovate.
I'm not caught up on the bracket or anything. I don't know. I'm big mad because I'm an Oxygen fan, and how that all shook out. I'm just like,
yeah, I think there's been a lot of
I'm like, dude,
there's been a lot of weird things apparently.
Yeah, a little bit. Not even on like the fault of the players. It's just the way the stuff is formatted. It's just like, okay, man, like whatever. I'm gonna go to Duluth. It's not really in Atlanta, is it? I'm gonna go to Atlanta and have a good time regardless. So.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if I'm going yet. Some people from Blast did reach out.
Tickets are gonna start selling out. The flights.
I mean, Blast reached out potentially. So
look at you.
We'll see.
Mr. Big Shot.
Okay, listen. hey, but then if that ends up happening, we get to make an IRL version of the podcast.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's late for you.
It is late, and I mean, we almost ended it at 58, and now it's 118. So we still rambled on for 20 more minutes.
Yeah, we kind of. I think we spruced it up a little bit there with the Halo segue.
We got you. But yeah, at the end of the day, we'll see when we drop our next episode. If there are some topics that you guys would really want, feel like we missed, or that you feel like we should have talked about, please, do feel free to comment that, because that helps us have things to talk about, and we can maybe keep our bi-weekly aimed schedule going. But at the end of the day, if there isn't enough things to talk about, we will just go next.
Yeah, I'm chilling. I think we got pretty much everything we could get out of the patch notes.
Yeah. But hey, at least it was enough this time.
I finally moved to a big city, and then the gym has the same grandma hours as my small town of like population 3,400 people. Hello? I just don't want to, whatever.
That was so
I'm sorry. I'm upset about it. Why are you closing at 8 p.m.?
Anyways,
anyway,
I think I'm gonna head out. My gym is open 24/7, so I'll see you later.
Look at you. Okay.
Take care, Gregor.
God.
Deuces. Jesus. All right. Bye-bye.